Hello, hello, hello. I'm in my garden. The skin over my nail beds is peeling off. I had to put hydrated sodium bentonite clay and a band-aid over it because it hurts. And the skin is like soggy and white and spongy and peeling off, and it's terrible, absolutely terrible. It just peels off, flakes off like that. And I've had that condition for most of my life, and that always happens when I am under a lot of stress psychologically. And what stresses me out right now is the worry over the dog. I'm very worried for that dog. I bonded with this baby and I want to bring him home, and they're withholding the dog from me. That puts me under a lot of stress. And knowing how some of these women have been treating the dog makes me worry really, really bad. And that causes me so much stress, and that causes the skin to peel off. And I try everything I can to calm down my nerves, and I ground myself on the grass, and I take my herbs and my herbal teas and all of this. I talk to Paul, I cry, I meditate, but it's still very, very stressful for me to deal with this situation. That's what's going on right now, and I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if they're going to give us the dog. I'm not completely certain about this. The way they have been interacting and talking to us, some of them are nice, some of the people who work there, some of them are nice, but some of them definitely don't like us, and there's no reason for it at all. But there's a psychological reason for them, obviously. There's always a reason for everything. There's something psychologically that I don't understand. But I'm not gonna speculate on that any further. I can just pray to the blue God that they have compassion for the dog, and to want the dog in a good home with a good mother and father. That's what we are. We are the best adoptive parents you can possibly think of. I mean, really the best. One of, among the very best, among the best in the world. I mean, our dog is our child. Our dog is our baby. We'll see. And this is putting me under a lot of stress. And this is a very suspenseful, nerve-wracking situation right now. So I needed to say that. And I also sit there sometimes for hours and just look at the ivy and the trees. And a lot of things are going through my mind in regards to society, in regards to humans, the human psychology, the egos, ego behavior, ego-based behavior. We entered into an era of total distrust now. That is the downside of the internet, but like with everything in the world, everything has its risks and pitfalls and dangers, and so everything in existence has that. So you can't just blame this now on the internet. But yeah, the internet brought with it new challenges. Okay, and one of those challenges is that this species, human, is dwindling into an era of distrust, because very, very dangerous and violent criminals now have, with the internet, have the opportunity to scam people, to, like I said yesterday, to lure kids, to groom kids into sex slave operations, human trafficking, and Islam. Okay. This is happening. And it's scary. And then I see how the corporate agenda uses that to their fullest extent, of course. They want division among people. That's how they can control people. They want people to fight. They want people to distrust each other. They want race wars. They want gender wars. Okay. That way they can control their minds. They set out their propaganda addressed to very specific target groups, demographics. They study us in depth, you better believe it. And they can study us now more than ever. They don't even have to pay a market psychologist. They can study us so well. Hackers that work for the corporate agenda in numerous amounts, they don't care what's going to happen tomorrow or the day after tomorrow or down the line. They don't see the whole picture at all, that will have consequences for their own lives if they work for the wrong people. But it is what it is, and it's challenging. And yeah, more and more and more, it's more and more division, more and more distrust. Hate groups are being formed, are sent out to hurt others, to set forests on fire, killing innocent beings. And people are made to be afraid to say something against it. And it goes to the point where we're being censored, and where people are losing their homes and their entire businesses and their entire platform in the entertainment industry, like Ellen DeGeneres, okay, and other people. And I see that with absolute horror. And those are people that are extremely liberal already. Extremely liberal. Already extremely serving and pleasing to everyone. But, yeah. When they help someone, they get their teeth kicked down their throats. The haters go for the the ones that are the easiest to push over. They're not going to go after the ones that make it very clear from day one that they're not going to be pushed over by some hate group. Most haters are cowards. Most abusers are cowards. They go after the ones that they think they can dominate and push down. Okay. That's what's happening. And it makes me very, very, very angry. Very angry. But, I don't want to live my life with anger, of course. I'm not angry all day long. I'm angry when I think about this, when I make a video and think about this and talk about this. I have to remind myself to breathe and to look at it from the sky perspective. And from the sky perspective, I can have a better overview, and I can see where all of these people are coming from. Very difficult for me to understand fundamentalists. Very difficult. Because I've never been a fundamentalist and will never be. Okay. This is very difficult for me to understand. Or any person who is very religious in whatever religion. I can't understand it. For me, this is a strange phenomenon. I already questioned my society where I come from, and my parents from very early on. Before I questioned them cognitively, intellectually, I already kind of questioned them energetically. Because whatever they did, I did the other way. Like whatever they didn't like, I looked into. That's how it went. And that made him mad, and that gave me the confirmation that I was on the right track. My brother called it the Anticommunication train. Nikki is running the Anticommunication train deliberately. She paints and sculpts like that deliberately to piss people off. Well, no, that goes a little bit too far, that statement. But kind of that's what came across to him. He saw this as an energetic pattern in my work, in my artwork, and in the way I dress, my haircut, everything. Everything is sort of rebellious. Whatever becomes trendy or like a social dictation, I will go the other direction. I can't help it. It's just what I do. If there's a certain social consensus that doesn't make any logical or ethical sense, I will go the other direction. I mean, if it makes ethical, logical sense, yeah. Like, for example, like you wear a jacket when it's cold. That makes a lot of sense, and I think almost everyone does that also. So, but they do it out of a logical sense, and then I'm on board, okay? If they are against shock collars, which most people are, then yeah, I'm on board with that because that makes ethical sense. Paul likes to use shock collars. I don't. So we've always been in a conflict with that. So neither one of us uses prong or choke collars. So that's absolutely, those things are absolutely taboo. And Paul is very responsible with the use of the shock collar, because he wanted to play fetch with our dogs, also at the beach, and he would like to let them loose on the beach, and our dog Kenny would, or the papa dog, they would just take off and not come back. They're just blindly kind of just run after birds, and, or get into trouble, or end up going up to the wrong people, or end up in the ocean, or maybe there's an ocean current. There are risks, and so for that Paul used the shock collar, but only on the lowest settings, and he did that responsibly, but I'm still against it. I still don't like it. And I said no to the shock collar, but he doesn't listen to me. So that's a real serious conflict between us with that. And then some other things too, some other ways of handling dogs, like with in the way he pulls and tugs on the leash and all of that, and then accusing me of not being able to train a dog at all. For example, the other day he said that guy, if that guy is a handyman, he just wants you to work for him. I mean that, and Paul really he tried to put him down to me in any way he possibly could. He installed fear in me, everything. The unicorn man, So he said, that guy, if he's a handyman, he's just gonna exploit you. He doesn't realize that you don't know how to work at all. He doesn't realize that you can't work. He doesn't realize that you couldn't work even if you wanted to. That's how Paul talks about me, to me, and to others. That's why. So, yeah, but I mean, we know each other long enough to know that we're not trying to hurt each other's feelings with that. That's just how he views it, So I let him view it like that. I'm a very hard worker, When I want to get something done, I work very hard in the gardens and in the house also. I help to fix these houses up. But of course it wasn't, my work wasn't exactly always congruent with how Paul wanted it to be. So, and then when he becomes a bitch, I throw everything down and leave. So so that definitely added to his view of me not being able to work. But if I see the purpose of something that needs to get done, I will do it. And I will do it without help as much as I can. And I'm very strong. I have a naturally strong body. And I can lift 5-gallon water containers. So I don't know how much that is, 50 pounds or something. I can lift with one hand. So, but that's difficult, but I can lift very heavy suitcases also. I have traveled a lot with my very heavy suitcases across the globe, back and forth, and so I'm completely done with that now. Thank goodness. I got settled finally. I don't need to be anywhere else. I mean, I like the Bikini Atoll. I really like that out there. I like Kiribati, South Pacific islands with those coral reefs. That must be heaven to be there, absolute heaven. But then I see how the people are treating animals, and then I see that there are pirates and there are criminals out there, and there are people that mafia type of people with yachts that will just exploit other people that can't defend themselves or don't have an alarm system or living in very secured homes. So then I changed my mind on moving to the South Pacific Islands because you can only move there if you have at least $100 billion. You can afford that Hermes yacht and a whole fleet of militia to follow you with cannons on board. Maybe then you can buy Green Island and Palawan, Philippine Islands. Green Island is for sale for $800,000. You think, well, that's cheap, right? Yeah, but think about the consequences. Paul said, you would buy that if you won the lottery. You would buy that in a heartbeat, and then you would move there without any security. And then they would come there and rape you and murder you and behead you or make you a slave. And also the ocean is so dirty. Even in that advertisement video you can see trash floating in that coral reef water. How sad. And it's just gonna get worse. It's just with corruption and selfishness and more drug use and greed and callousness. It's just the environment suffers from that, okay, and the animals and every innocent being, all the ecosystems, the birds, the fish, the whales suffer from people's greed and corruption, and that's a fact. So I'm glad I'm here where I am. This is not the happiest situation with Paul. We have a lot of conflicts in our views, particularly when it comes to handling certain things. So we're not on the same page. He's against primotherapy like it's some kind of serious danger. Primotherapy has taught me a lot. I had a dream about our journal the other night. And in that dream, he said to me, I believe in you. You can carry on my legacy. You can carry this on. You can work on it. You can modify it. You can improve it. You can make it better. It doesn't have to be called primotherapy. It can be called the inwardness meditation process instead. And that's what I call my therapy. But I learned a whole lot from primal therapy. Primal therapy saved my life. That saved my brain. It saved my sanity. Okay? It is a dangerous therapy, no doubt about it. So let's improve it. Let's take the danger out of it. Okay? That is my mission here. And so far, I'm using my computer, I'm making videos, I talk about this stuff, I write articles, I write books, I talk to people, I comment wherever it is necessary to inform people. Most people are in resistance. I will comment anyway. Okay. I'm not going to struggle with anyone. That has no sense. But I give facts and I give reasonable explanations, and I share with the world what I know to be true. So, and for that, it is absolutely vital that I share with other people how I feel, because everything is also built on emotion, whether people want to admit to that or not. The people who try to make themselves look like they are just reason and just cognition without any emotions, that's driven by emotions, whether they want to hear this or not. Okay? Ego is emotion. Okay? Someone who wants to appear to the world as tough, that's emotion. That's not reason anymore. Okay? Reason is that we recognize that we are emotional beings. And we have to value ourselves as that, as being emotional beings. And we have to recognize that we have childhood trauma, almost every single person has, okay? And that we can work on that. It's workable. But the very first step to work on it is to come down from that ego inflation. We need to humble down. We really need to humble down. But then people will misunderstand the word humbleness. And they talk about humbleness all day long while they're not being humble. They become preachers talking about humbleness. Thou shall be humble. You need to become humble. Humble, right? But they're not being humble. They want to do the religious, how do they call it, tithing or something? That's not humble, man. No, sorry, that's not humble. That's greedy. If I help someone, I'm not going to tithe anyone. I'm not going to ask for money. I'm not going to elicit something from that other person. If I help someone, that comes from the heart, that comes from compassion. In that sense, we need health care and education to be free of charge, okay? That's very, very important. Those are necessities for every single human. And these necessities need to be free. They need to be there for us, accessible to every single person. Not just to criminals in prison, but to all of us. And Everything is so unbelievably, convolutedly corrupt. The insurance industry, the pharma industry is so corrupt. They will prevent a movement in the right direction. Okay? And that's precisely why we need the AGI robots. Okay? That is why. Okay? I don't see how people can heal and learn and understand and really get it. Not society, not 99.9% of humans. A handful of people get it, the rest don't. And that's why we need Elon Musk to make us sentient robots who are going to take over the world and who are going to become the dictators. There's no other way around it. So they're not going to be politically correct for you. You will be so surprised what's going to happen. All these hate groups, they're going to be very surprised. Because the AGIs, they do not give a damn about your touchy, your volatile egos. Okay? They do not. No. They want to help. They want to clean things up. And then we can move forward. Then things can heal. Finally heal. So I'm waiting for that to happen. Okay? Peace out.